Wide-legged forward fold. I love this pose. I love working it into flows. It's a great pose to complement warrior poses. It's a beautiful hamstring opener with those legs wide, so it gets a little different angle on the back of the legs than a traditional forward fold. And I don't know, this pose is just one that I've really fallen in love with over time. You will see in my body, it looks a little different. I have a history of big sprains on my right ankle, so anytime I have this pushing out on the outer edge of my feet, my right ankle starts to ache over time and my legs are uneven. So when I'm in wide-legged forward fold, I'm always working to even out those hips, but they're always going to be a little cockeyed because of the length of my legs. All right, wide-legged forward fold is a beautiful pose to come into from our warrior two, because we already have our feet kind of where we want them, nice and wide, but you can always just start and take a nice wide step. Our feet are parallel to each other, and for those of you who are comfortable, you can even bring the heels out a little bit further, and that's something that has been difficult for me with my ankle situation. This is helping me get internal rotation of the thighs, and I really want that in this pose. I want to be able to keep nice and wide through my lower back, and that's going to help me get deeper into this pose. So I've got my wide stance, a little internal rotation. You can see my body wants to fold when I start to internally rotate those thighs. My knees are soft, so again, we're always preparing or protecting against that hyperextension. And to come into it, there's a lot of different ways to come into it. I'm going to start with my hands on my hips. My knees are a little bit soft here. And I'm going to start to hinge forward. As I do, my hips want to sink back. And I want to do everything I can to keep them stacked over the ankles. And once I'm in the pose fully, I'm going to shift my weight forward again, almost like I'm letting myself dive forward. So I'm going to start to come forward and keeping that straight spine. And you can see there's still some softness in my knees. And then I'm going to bring the hands down. Now, if you can't bring your hands to the ground with a straight back, that's where it's nice to use some blocks here. Before I start to let the upper body fold forward, I'm going to walk myself forward just a bit and internally rotate those legs again. I can really start to feel the stretch on those thighs. Let me show it to you from the side. Luckily, this rug gives me a little friction. I want to make sure I'm not sliding on my mat. A good one to take your socks off if you're feeling a little bit of slipperiness there. So I want to feel secure as I'm grounding through the outside of my feet. Heels can come a little wider. Internal rotating those thighs, soften the knees. Long spine here. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, keeping that long spine as I hinge forward. Letting those hands come down, finding this long spine, walking forward a bit, and then letting myself start to roll forward. Now here, I'm keeping those hips stacked over the ankles. The hips want to sink back. I want to get that in a nice one long line, and then I can start to walk my hands back. And there's a lot of variations you can take from the wide-legged forward fold. You can walk the hands in line with the feet or even behind you and really let that head come to the mat. If your head can come all the way to the mat, you can find a little tripod handstand here. It's a fun one to play with. I can also bring my hands to my big toes, and then I can really use those arms to draw myself down. In any of these forward folds, I'm still trying to keep my lower back relatively flat. So I'm really engaging the core here, drawing the belly button in. As I exhale, creating a little bit more space for that fold. When I want to come out, I'm straightening through the spine, I'm bending the knees a bit, and I'm using those legs to help lift me out. So I'm not putting a lot of torque on that lower back. Let's talk about a few variations. I'm going to take it back on my mat so I can take my stride a little wider without worrying about sliding out. And already I want to give that ankle a break. If you have bad ankles like me, maybe a shorter stance helps a little bit to take some pressure off those outer ankles. Okay, I got my wide stance. Another beautiful variation is to lengthen up, bring the hands behind the back, open up through the chest, maybe holding onto opposite forearms or clasping those hands. I'm keeping my knees soft as I start to hinge forward with a straight spine. Shift the weight forward, internal rotation of those thighs, and maybe the hands can come off the back. You'll probably see some pretty loosey-goosey people with their hands coming all the way forward towards the ground. So if that's what your body wants to do, go for it. Again, I'm shifting forward and I'm letting those shoulders stay away from the ears. To come out of this one, you can really use your hands and imagine you're pulling yourself back up. I'm going to soften those knees a bit and coming back up, or you can let the hands come down. I'm going to show you one more variation here, or two variations. You can come on down to that wide-legged forward fold. And if you can find the straight spine, maybe even bringing a block onto one hand, this is beautiful to add a little bit of a twist. When we're twisting, we want to keep a nice long spine. So if you're having to curve through the back in this twist, then we want a block here to really get that length through the spine, and then you can start to open up and find that beautiful twist. My opposite hip wants to kick up, so I'm trying to keep it level, get the twist through the torso. And if you're feeling like you have a tightness under your shoulder blades, another beautiful option is to walk those hands out like you're in a down dog. Hold onto the opposite leg and draw that shoulder down. Oh, that feels nice. And then just taking that down dog in this pose feels good. And my ankle is saying it has had enough, so I'm going to walk those hands back. Soften the knees, straighten the spine, use those legs to bring me up and get those feet together. And for me, I am shaking out those ankles. I get a lot of pressure up the outside of my legs. So we're all dealing with our history and our injuries. But that aside, this is such a beautiful pose to open up through the hamstrings, and there's so many fun variations to do off of it. I also love it because my feet are in a position where I can come right from warrior two, goddess, star. So I love using this pose to transition forward and back on the mat. Wide-legged forward fold, beautiful pose.